Family, karibuni sana. I hope you guys are doing amazing. 22 minutes past the top of the hour. That's the time. Right here in the 254. I've missed you guys so much. Hope you're doing amazing. Hope you've had a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And of course, happy new month ahead of you guys. And of course, I'm wishing you guys a positive one. Nothing but blessings, nothing but happiness, good health, mental health, everything that you require, everything that you're actually requesting the universe to grant you, you receive, and it shall ask and it shall be granted, literally. But anyway, karibuni sana. My name is Joby. To those who are here for the first time via YouTube, on Twitter, everyone live with us on the radio station, everyone live with us on Spreaker, on Spotify, everyone those who get to catch the shows on Rumble, on Beach. Shout out to everyone also live with us on TikTok. I see Omanga. Big up to everyone also live with us that is on the show page. Karibuni sana once again to today's episode, where we shall be focusing on the journalism in Africa and how I'll be sharing a video that I've shared before, which we didn't finish, and it was actually breaking down how a few journalists from mainstream medias actually left their job. That is because of the threat they were facing, how they discovered majority of the information they're feeding people, it's all lies, and it all goes back to the people who control, of course, our politicians, our puppets, and everything you want to talk about. So I'll be showing bits of that video, but majorly shall be focusing on something that happened in the 254 during this weekend. And it's not just in the 254, because it has been happening in so many African countries. I've been reporting in so many African countries, especially Cameroon. I feel like Cameroon is one of the countries I report on so much, where journalists have been highly affected, highly on target, even bloggers, where they can't talk about anything, or politicians. And this is quite a sad situation, because this is where you question the democracy actually. How are we in a democratic country if I can't even ban a picture of a president? That is a big problem, you know, and a very petty problem for me to be arrested by. So we shall be talking about that, because in the 254, we've had one of our bloggers from Mombasa who has been sodomized, and this was an order given by the governor of that county. And it is such a sad situation. The video is going viral. The country is going crazy. There's a national-wide demonstration being planned because of this, because politicians are being seen to be threatening people, despite the reshuffling of the cabinet secretary, despite the calling out of Ruto must go, who, of course, is a regime is being requested by majority of the citizens to step down. He has refused to. And you can see the people he has put in power, the kind of things they are actually doing. I mean, this is crazy, because the video is going viral. We'll be talking about that, majorly focusing on the freedom of speech in Africa. I've discussed about this, but I love talking about it because, especially all due to my career line and everything I talk about, it is quite highlighting, quite shocking to see the kind of a country we live in the continent, the kind of constitution, again, I said, that does control Africa, because I don't believe it's a law. You know, as much as it's part of the law, it's a constitution, literally, that has been operating the whole of the African continent. So karibuni sana, that's our top discussion for the day. We shall also talk about where Haiti and the UN are discussing the extension of security mission mandate, that is for another year. I'll be sharing much more details about that. Burkina Faso calling out for foreign powers, which deliberately are exacerbating sufferings, and that is to the Sahelians. I'll be talking about that as well as we go down to the article. And as we talk about national-wide demonstration, Nigeria is also planning for rallies as they call out on the cost of living, which is actually very extensive. That was last week. We talked about also Ghana. They went ahead and demonstrated about the illegal mining crisis that are in the country, the mismanagement of economy and funds, and everything that you can talk about, even lack of employment to the majority of the youth who are being forced to go outside as they die, all on their way to the offshores. Along that, we should also talk about, still under Kenya, how the president and the deputy president are under actually a certain fallout, but I don't want to call it a fallout, because I love going back to how also Uhuru and Ruto were claimed to have a fallout, and we need to understand politics very well. I don't believe there's a fallout, but we shall discuss much more on that, and also much more coming from other African countries. Karibuni sana once again. This is the Pan African Bliss Show. Back to the music. That was Nyashinsky with a new jam, and it's called Bluff Manze from his new album. I don't know many of you actually from TikTok. Let me know, you guys. Shout out to Yogi, shout out to the dog, shout out to William, shout out to James. Niambieni, which jam did you guys love so much from Nyashinsky's album? Personally, I did love Bluff. I love One of One. I love, there's so many jams actually up kwa your album. Sijui, which one is your favorite? But remember to also tune in later on the BHFN countdown that is after this amazing show as you get to catch up with Shmani Iwaton and Kamlesh, and you can maybe be able to vote which one is your favorite. This is One of One. We shall be coming back after this short musical break with a quote, and of course as we get started with the conversation of the day. Karibuni sana once again. Let me know how you guys doing, and did you miss your girl right here? Karibuni sana. That is Nyashinsky Manze. Catch us tonight on the culture show, myself and Kamlesh, as we get to actually expound much more on that. I think we shall be going the way all the way to the 254. But of course, Karibuni and also tune in later, a few minutes after this, that is on the BHFN countdown, and you can vote which is your favorite jam. I'm not sure which category of music that the group or my fellow host shall be playing. And of course, just tune in on TikTok, on the radio, by ensuring you have our application on your phone, which is very, very important. Because one thing I love saying about the Black Wi-Fi Network application, it gives you the chance to actually listen as you do other things on your phone. You can just have the app, log in, you can listen to the radio part. If you have the time, you can go to the show page, and of course check us out as we get to stream every amazing show. You can also go on the TV section for those who are on Amazon, those who have Amazon TV, those who have Roku TV. We are also there. Just search or download the Black Wi-Fi Network application, and you'll be able to find us right there. Also, ensure you check out our Black Wi-Fi Network store. It has amazing, not just merchandise, but we also have amazing sports, amazing things there that you can really order. That is the sports store. You can check the vitamins, the beverages we have, the coffee, and also the beauty products, the hair products, nail products, all natural, coming from the Black Wi-Fi Network radio station. Karibuni sana once again. My name is Joby, in case you're here for the first time. As we get started, I want to start, of course, with what is happening in Haiti, where we had Kenya last week deploying the remaining 600 troops that were left or that were supposed to be actually transported to that particular country. And of course, remember, the mission is for them to stabilize peace, but we know that this is actually the opposite of it. And a few months ago, we had the UN, which came in and said that they don't want actually, they're looking for how they can return these troops back to their countries. But it's quite shocking to see that as they talk about that, we see more troops being added. Other countries like Jamaica, Benin are still offering to still send their troops, but the UN did offer to actually intervene. That was, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. They offered to intervene in this mission. And Haiti has been one of the countries, I read the article, if you check one of the shows, has experienced the brutality of the UN peacekeepers. Number one, where they have actually raped not only just children, girls, but also male children, also male adults who are in hunger or those who are in starvation, and faced majority of also sodomization. And it's quite crazy to see that these are talk, and because we don't control and we don't have power enough to call out these kind of agencies, until the continent of Africa itself, the African leaders, the power itself is claimed, we're going to keep on having this back and forth debate. But they're saying that the UN Security Council voted anonymously, that was yesterday, to extend the mandate of the Kenya-led multinational force helping to tackle gang violence in Haiti after the brushing off a call from Haiti to start talks on transforming into a UN peacekeeping mission. Like I said, according to the final draft obtained by the Associated Press, China and Russia succeeded in eliminating the paragraph in the resolution that acknowledged the call by the president of Haiti, Transitional President Council at the UN General Assembly to start a discussion on moving to a UN peacekeeping force. Last Thursday, a call by the Edgar Lebanic was the first public announcement of the support by a government official since the United States proposed a UN peacekeeping mission in early September as a way to secure more resources for the Kenya-led mission Haiti. Resources. More of stealing of natural resources they mean. Nearly 400 Kenyan officers are now in Haiti, joined by nearly 2 dozen police officers and soldiers from Jamaica, and the officers fall significantly short of the 2,500 pledged by the various countries, including Chad, Benin, Bangladesh, and Barbados. For the mission, it also seriously short. It is also seriously short of funding. The U.S. ambassador, that is Linda Thomas, which I'll be sharing the video as she talks, told the Security Council that the 15-0 vote sends a strong message to the response of Haiti. The world is standing with you, which is not, because they don't even want the world being involved in this. And this is what we're talking even about now, the bloggers, the journalists, because the journalists are reporting nothing but lies. These are mainstream controlled media. So you're talking nothing but just lies. They're not concerned about Haiti. If they were concerned about Haiti, the UN should not actually be coming back to that country, number one. You've committed literally crimes in this country. Why are you going back? Is there any justice that has been prevailed to the families, the children that face this kind of animosity? Of course not. So it is so sad to see that actually Africa, until we reclaim our power, until we start having African countries being led by white people, because that's another problem that actually it is facing. You can see majority of the leaders, even those who have withdrawn, they are all white. But this is a country, despite being invaded, that is supposed to be fully of black people.
A renewed mandate for the police mission in Haiti. The Kenya-led force will now stay in the Caribbean country until October 2nd, 2025. The Haitian government and Washington had pushed for the mandate to change to a UN peacekeeping mission. It is clear that the mission in its current form still faces serious limitations. The financial and material support that the mission greatly needs remains insufficient.
The only thing, the financial and material support they're talking about is the guns, material support. How they can actually be able to extract more resources. Because the question I was asking, like I said last week, is how are these illegal mining centers, how do they end up having the tractors to extract, to move the soil from one region to another? Like, who, if I'm poor and I'm looking for a way to survive every single day by making $2 because we don't know the worth of our resources, right? Africa is not really taught that. So if I'm poor and I'm going to a certain illegal mining center that has zero equipment, I'm talking about me going just with my axe and my djembe. There's no lorries, there's no tractors. It's my efforts that is dependent on how I'm going to survive and provide food for myself. So it is quite crazy to see actually how Africans, we continuously being convinced that we have illegal mining centers, but yet we have actually equipment that have been funded. The same thing even with in the countries that have war. We're being told that these terrorists are very fully well equipped, but who's giving them the weapons? Where are they getting the weapons from? Where are the weapons coming from? Because someone must be funding the weapons. Someone must have the money to be able to generate good weapons to terrorize people to the point where we cannot be able to tackle the whole situation. Then someone is funding this whole project. And that is basically what is happening in most of the African countries. So until we learn again how to claim back power, until we have leaders who are really powerful, Burkina Faso type of thing, getting rid of all these agencies, number one, all this organization, understanding that they have never helped us, then that is the only way we move. Because as we move on, shout out to Sister Stinovia, karibu sana. Hope you're doing great. Hope your weekend was fantastic, and happy new month ahead of you. I'm wishing you a blessed one and a peaceful one, full of mental health and everything you need. Burkina Faso is calling out for foreign powers who have deliberately exacerbated suffering, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But let me share more, please.
Burkina Faso's Minister of Foreign Affairs addressed Monday the UN General Assembly's high-level debate in New York. As his country fights terror groups, Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré said nearly 70% of the territory was now under control, up from 40% in 2022. The popular support and enthusiasm sparked by the creation of the Alliance of Sahel States can be partly explained by the failure and incapacity of sub-regional institutions and mechanisms to respond to the security concerns of our populations, which are legitimate. The creation of the alliance has been life-saving, and it will be our salvation. Its primary aim is to protect the populations of the Sahel who have suffered from the security and humanitarian crises, and against whom deadly measures were deliberately enforced to further exacerbate their suffering. Traoré notably called out Ukraine's alleged support of terrorists in the Sahel.
Yeah, so basically that is what is happening. I don't know if that lady is always an AI reading, or I don't know what's always going on, but Burkina Faso, of course, and the Alliance Sahel state itself, they have boldly come out and spoken about how these foreign powers have not been of help. When you talk about the African Union, I love the fact they call the African Union, which majority of even these African coons are so scared to talk about, you know? And this is why when we have journalists, real journalists talking about this, they're now being sodomized. They're being killed. They're being tortured. Their families are being threatened. Because when you can't talk about the truth, about the facts behind how countries are working with these organizations, you are a threat to the power, to this fake power, actually, not to the power, because this is a fake power that we have in Africa. And even in majority of the countries, even outside Africa, because majority of the people that are presidents, all presidents in the world are puppets. You can tell me otherwise, but all presidents globally, they're all puppets. We have the top power that everyone globally that follows the orders from, starting from health to finances to school to religion and everything. But yeah, we had the Alliance Sahel state itself, which boldly came out and spoke about the African Union, the UN, the EU, spoke about talk about France, so many countries, and so many of these foreign powers, their impact, which is very negative in Africa. But we've not seen any other African countries do the same or back in the same words that the three African democratic countries have said: Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So let me just read the article of what it was saying. Burkina Faso Minister of Foreign Affairs address that was yesterday, the UN General Assembly high-level debate in New York, as his country still fights a terrorist group in the northern east. He said nearly 70% of the territory was now under control from 40% in 2022. Foreign Minister Traoré also called out what he termed as propaganda against Burkinabe defense forces, of course, because we've been seeing consistently they have been trying to put fake images and information about Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali since the juntas took power, which has been very effective positively in their countries, because people are getting employed. The terrorists, you can see, as much as Keith was telling me on Friday, or can't remember, that they have been able to increase the equipment. They have drones now to also see how the juntas or the defense forces are moving. They also he highlighted that the professionalism and the stellar conduct of the country's defense and security forces that is demonstrated through their participation in peacekeeping operation and recognize it time and time again at this very podium. The ongoing training and the examination of our defense forces and volunteers in international humanitarian law guarantee that our professional conduct is unimputable and is respecting the human rights. Exactly. Unlike the UN, unlike the AU, and all these fake other organizations. So shout out to Burkina Faso. That is one thing I'm going to give it to them. I love the fact, even when you go to this meeting, still you stand with your agenda. Like, I still stick with the agenda. I mean business, and that is what I mean. We mean standing with human rights, not fake human rights. Because I remember sometime, I think it was this year, when I discovered literally majority of the human rights we have in Africa are so fake. They're all just funded non-organizations that are in Africa to act like they care, but they don't. They're all here to give reports back. Because I was just reading an article right here that was talking about how the UN is giving us the amount of money that is being stolen from Congo yearly due to resources. And I'm like, you're the same people who are actually controlling that region, the same UN that is actually demanding and seeking a way to go back to Haiti. So it's such a dirty game. And Africans, slowly we are understanding what is happening. Slowly. I hope these back and forth demonstrations that I see Africans having, calling for better leadership, everything better, is really going to take us somewhere. Because as we move on, Nigeria is going to see new rallies. That is tomorrow, with citizens protesting against a cost of living crisis named Fearless October 1st. The demonstrations have been, actually, that is today. Sorry, not tomorrow. That was because I was not in yesterday. So I think today is on a Monday. Sorry about that. But yeah, they're saying that named the Fearless October 1st, which is today, the demonstrations are being timed to coincide with Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary, which falls on Tuesday, October 1st. 64th independence, but the country is in the poorest shit. The country is the most dependable country on other foreign powers than you can ever think of. Nigeria is the most richest country, the most populated country that actually should. Someone said Nigeria should be looking like Dubai. I've seen that quote so many times somewhere. Nigeria should be looking like Dubai, but sadly, oh my God, I feel for those people. As much as Kenya is also not in the best situation, but Nigeria is really messed up. But they're also saying organizers told the local media that rallies will take place in the capital of Abuja, the port city of Lagos, and in provincial capital across the West African country. Similar demonstrations rocked Nigeria, that is in July and August this year, with protesters demanding the reinstatement of a fuel subsidy and the end of government corruption. About 24 people were killed in a crackdown by security forces, and according to the activists. And on his first day in office, Bola Tinubu promised to end decades of long fuel subsidies that had helped keep prices down. His government also twice devalued the currency, causing the prices to just about everything to jump. In an address of the nation, Tinubu defended his policies, but made no concession to the protesters. Well, that is what they do every single time, because the same thing is also happening in Kenya. But let me share the images of what is happening currently in Nigeria, as you get to hear much more of that. Let's see.
Nigeria could see new rallies on Tuesday with.
And as always, they always have their police officers always ready, set outside to, brutalize people despite them being peaceful, because nobody's carrying a weapon right here. Nobody has a gun, nobody has a knife, apart from petty thieves that we always have among some peaceful demonstrations. Nobody has anything literally on anyone. So it's crazy to see this. It's crazy to see Our African leaders are so scared to talk about. Just come boldly as men, address your people, tell them one, two, three things are going on, but you're gonna work it out and mean actions. But because they're so scared, they won't. They will not be able to do so. Let's hear more.
The currency causing prices of just about everything to jump.
Yeah, so of course, and that this has been in majority of African countries, and globally we know that the prices of things are skyrocketing. I'll be sharing videos tomorrow on the Africa Today show of some of the things I saw Bill Gates talking about. Of course, with the mass starvation that is coming, it's crazy. Be careful of what you're buying. Be careful of what you're eating. That starts with myself because yesterday I was not able to report in because I was not really feeling okay. I was really, really messed up, really, really messed up. But be careful of what you're eating. I also saw something that is just to create an awareness. I don't know how we can deal with that, but also the tomatoes, the avocados, the onions, majority tomatoes, avocados. Check the fruits you're eating because right now with the lab rats they have and majority of the animals they're coming up with, they are spreading them also on farms and they are actually injecting. Because I saw one of the videos that actually a snake that was going attacking the tomatoes. And I was like, this is really dangerous, you know. We're eating poisoned tomatoes, venomed fruits. So be careful of what you're eating. I don't know how we can deal with that. Having venomed, poisoned fruits. As much as they're doing it, you know, with the sprays and everything, the fertilizer, it's crazy, it's messed up. But anyway, as we move on to the main conversation of the day, we want to talk about the deputy president as we get into the freedom of speech in Africa and our journalists are being threatened. They've been facing threats. Not this is not the first time. It's been many reports have actually presented here of from many African countries, people suffering, bloggers suffering, going through it because they said something against a leader, a politician, or something. So currently, what is happening in Kenya, we can see there is the same thing that we saw Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta do, acting like they had some a fallout, you know, they had issues and all that. The same thing is happening with the current regime. They're saying that the Kenya's deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, has been threatened with impeachment proceedings by lawmakers amid intense speculation that he has had a major fallout with the President William Ruto, which of course the impeachment was suspended. The president's allies in parliament have accused Gachagua of undermining the government, prompting ethnical divisive politics, having a role in fueling the deadly protests that rocked the country in June, and of being involved in corruption. The power struggle has led to the concerns of instability at the heart of government at a time when Kenya is on the thrones of deep economic and financial crisis. Ruto chose Gachagua as his running mate in 2022 election when he defeated the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga in a bitterly contested election. Gachagua comes from the vote-rich Mount Kenya region and helped marshal support for Ruto, but with the members of Odinga party joining the government after the youth-led protest that forced Ruto to back down from increasing taxes, the political dynamics have changed and the deputy president looks increasingly isolated. Which is currently, we can say it's kind of true, but ish. But they're saying, legislators say that they are preparing for a table a motion in parliament calling for impeachment proceeding to be instituted against him. He says, this is one of the majority leader. I have already appended my signature to it, and the allies to the deputy president have launched several attempts in high courts to prevent the motion from being tabled but have failed. Well, it was suspended. The impeachment was suspended. That was during the weekend. To cut the long story short, but with all this drama going on, because they're trying to say that the deputy president is the only corrupt person here, he's not. So is the president. So is the opposition leader. So are those MPs actually. So are these judges, because they're there in favor of the president and in favor of majority of those in power. So this is all just to confuse people from the reality of majority of the things going on. We have the NSHF whole thing going on, and the president was being questioned. That was, I think, yesterday. What is this all about? A lot of things are going on in the country, but they can't even give us clear answers. So let me share this as we go. Connect the dots kindly from how this leadership is just working. And now when people talk about it, when journalists come talk about what is really, really happening, they're being squeezed to the balls. They're being sodomized. And this is just crazy and shitty, and it needs national-wide demonstration. So that was last week. We saw the government telling and alerting Kenyans to be ready, that from 1st of October, with immediate effect, they're going to change their cards from the NHIF to SHIF, if I'm not wrong. Exactly. So we had the health cabinet secretary, Deborah Baraza, who was unable to explain what the SHIF and how Kenyans in the formal sector will be able to pay for new health fund, which will officially be launched today, of course, by the government, and it will be similar as the Hustler Fund. That is what she says. Majority of the people today cannot even be able to pay that similar, the Hustler Fund back. I remember there's this politician, I can't remember his name, but one of the cabinet secretaries said, we can't trace the people who actually came to take the loan, the Hustler Fund loan, because majority of the people went for this loan actually trying to look for a way out to buy for unga for a day, skuma wiki for a day, or a diaper for a baby, or some medical covers. These people did not take the Hustler Fund for capitalization of any business like Ruto had promised, because that was what he said for the Hustler Fund is going to be about. You're going to get a certain loan of amount of money that can be able to help you capitalize yourself, entrepreneur you. But none of this has happened. So now bloggers are talking about it. Journalists are calling this coon out. And now they're squeezing people on the balls. We won't accept this. I'm a journalist myself. That video made me feel, I felt like that was my brother. We're calling out on this nonsensical of these people who do not understand why they are in power, why they're supposed to be working. But no, they've decided Africans will have to remain silent. Like our older generations, we have to maintain, we have to actually be silent like water on a tank somewhere. Never be discovered if you are drinkable or not. Insane.
That is what we envision, that every month they will be able to deduct from what you're getting. So it will be almost similar to the people who are employed. Now, the means testing...
Where are you deducting from?
Deduct from where I know the woman works is my shamba.
Because the lady who is working in my 5 years shamba and is earning that much, how are you going to deduct it?
It will be similar to the Hustlers Fund.
How?
It will be fully alone.
Exactly. So you're telling us it's a loan. Like, what is this? This is just bullshit. And I think this is one of the conversations we're going to have today on the Black Kings frequency, because something is just not making sense to me. We need to be majority of us for me to maybe understand this. What do you mean you're loaning? What are you loaning me? People have been paying for healthcare for the longest time, but these funds never helped them. I myself, shout out to Wallace, he's always been trying to convince me, like, hey, bro, can you go get yourself an NHIF card? And I'm like, bro, What is this card supposed to help me for? Because I had a sick mother years ago. She had been paying for NHIF for all her life. But when she was cancer sick, the NHIF cannot even be able to cover any of your medical, not even the headache. And then you're telling me, now we're not gonna, we move away from the NHIF, which I've been paying with my own money, which you've been taking and stealing away from me because it can't cover up my medical covers, to a now new digitalized system, because that is what it is. It's a new digitalized healthcare system. This is just so crazy. So, one, I think if you're following up, if we're there till up to there, from the deputy president having all these issues with the president that are being claimed to be issues, which is some drama to keep people away focused from what the reality, like number one, what I'm sharing, because this is very alarming. This is our health data being collected in a way. This is our health not actually even being taken care of in any sort of way. And there's further, if there's further words to explain it, you feel free to put it down in the comment section. Because globally, I believe it's actually Black people. They've been paying for healthcare, but it has never covered for even a goddamn headache. I've never seen anyone who has said they've benefited from a healthcare card. Personally, I've never seen anyone. We have to go all the way to India and spend billions of money still enriching the same people who are keeping us in the same position. Now, we have bloggers, we have journalists who are talking about this. I want to share this video I've shared before. I didn't share all of it. He was not allowed to question the president or to question the people in power. And for him as a journalist, that's when it rose an alarm to him. What is he doing as a journalist if he can't question some of the things going or taking place in our system? So I'm going to start from there where I left last time. If any of you is going to pick from here, I shared this video some time back, so I don't want to start from the beginning just to save time. He talks about how the mainstream media not only lies about our health, and I think this was during the pandemic. As much as the video comes from Al Jazeera, it has some few facts on it. This was a Kenyan journalist. I remember growing up seeing this guy, but he disappeared from our screens. I never knew why. I go back to majority of the records, majority of the presentations. Again, I'll say I've had here journalists from Cameroon, journalists from Kenya, journalists from South Africa, journalists from Nigeria, bloggers end up being tortured, disappear because of trying to call out this system and poor leadership, or trying to talk anything against these leaders. Because who are you? That is what they ask you. I don't want to share the video going viral right here. It's a disgusting video and very heartbreaking. Myself, I couldn't even continue watching it. We have a Kenyan blogger who has been sodomized, and this is calling for a national-wide demonstration. Again, people are so mad. Because the question is, why can't we question? If these people cannot give us clear answers of like, what is the SHIF standing for? Why are we moving from the NHIF? You're telling me it's the same as ASLA fund. What do you mean? What am I taking loans for? What do you mean? Why am I in debt? Why are you, it's not even making any sense. So when people are demanding for this kind of these simple answers right now, and it's been happening. I remember the last time Keith made me share a video coming from Kagame, him chasing and tracing down a journalist all the way because he came from Rwanda and went to hide in South Africa, but he was found there. The same question I'm asking again, it's so sad and poor of African leaders to be hiring CIAs, detectives, rapists, DCIs to come not only kidnap, torture people who are actually trying to do right by the country, but you won't hire CIAs. You won't hire CIAs to come and get, try to track down why your economy is being messed up, track down how we have Savo National Park being mined. You won't track down how our mineral resources have not been profiting us. You won't track down. You won't even audit anything. What do you mean? That's something that never makes sense to me as a journalist, as a reporter. How our leaders have failed. They have the time to hire rapists, gangs, everything you want to call, on innocent people, but never on the top to check the politicians who are not doing right. We have a record of so many governors from Kenya itself, just alone. And I'm certain if you dig every African country, they're facing the same similar situations. We have literally so many governors from previous regimes who have escaped with the same similar situations of ensuring bloggers won't talk, journalists are silenced. If you want, you're going to lose your job. Until when will this continue? Freedom of speech itakuwa inanyimwa mpaka lini? That's my question. Let me share this very quickly as we get to continue.
And my boss's boss clearly told me, don't challenge the presidency. The fact that I as a journalist was told that you can go this far and no further in a company that was supposed to uphold the values of public interest, that didn't sit well with me. And that's where my colleagues and I decided to found Africa Uncensored and step out.
You heard he can't question the president. Let me start it again.
An investigative report about the 2013 general election, and my boss's boss clearly told me, don't challenge the presidency. The fact that I as a journalist was told that you can go this far and no further in a company that was supposed to uphold the values of public interest, that didn't sit well with me.
And that's the narrative we're fed, sadly. That's just the narrative we're fed. Like he's explaining it just in a different way. That's the narrative Africans were fed. The mainstream media, whatever it reports, that's what we should be satisfied with. But things are not working. What do you mean you launched a project? Where's the project? Because we see ribbons and just access. Where is the project? Where are the projects? That's the question. We can't be seeing ribbons being cut every single time. People appearing, clapping hands, video, and mainstream media taking videos and cameras to prove nothing, zero of a point. Basically, is explaining what the mainstream media, how we viewed it, how it has been created, the narrative it has, and now we've been fed na tumechukua hivyo. And this is why when they see now us questioning the mainstream media our own way, they're getting mad.
And that's where my colleagues and I decided to found Africa Uncensored and step out. 2 years ago, I received an email, and the person on the other end told me that they had a very interesting data set that would give me an understanding of how corruption really works in public finance management. And I verified that the information that this person wanted to give me was indeed true. So the data set we received shows us that there's corrupt networks in many, many places. But the place that we chose to focus our attention on was in the Ministry of Health, because this is one of the president's key pillars for delivery to the public. And it seems as if it's either been hijacked or it was formulated to steal from this country.
And that is basically what is happening right now. They are stealing from the people. That is why we're asking a very simple question, because we don't really have an explanation. And anyone can help me understand, maybe from the 254, those who are with me on TikTok. Why are we moving from the NHIF to the SHIF? Because SHIF is a digitalized healthcare system. And NHIF has been there for years. You've been paying. How has it helped you? Who have you seen who has been helped by NHIF itself? Because I've never seen anyone. So they're stealing funds not only from us, but there's someone who's benefiting higher from this.
Hey, how are you guys? All right. Purity, now under wealth managers who are looking at people who are now managing this wealth that seems to be lost corruptly, and the connections that has to these 263 companies. So now, Joy, in terms of impact, the line of questions. Our investigation started on news that we questioned. At the time, we didn't think that it was fake news. But as we've investigated, it's become very clear that certain aspects of what the government was saying.
Okay, just a minute. I don't know what happened to my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Let me know. I bet so. Okay.
Regarding the medical equipment leasing scheme are indeed fake news.
For Italy.
Purity is our head of data. She's a statistician, and she's very, very good at looking at data sets and trying to extract meaning from them.
Hello, Joe Mosquito.
Purity has been doing quite a bit of research looking into people who we are calling wealth managers. We're calling them wealth managers because at the time we weren't absolutely sure whether these people were conduits for corrupt proceeds or they played a role that helped manage those corrupt networks. I get what they could be, what a FAQ could be. Joy is looking at what the impact of what the data is saying is on the public. So Joy will go out and find many of the human stories that you'll see in our report.
And then you find out their lies, because something I've said, I'm not going to share again the whole video. Like I said, I'm not going to share the whole video. You find out all those stories are lies. And something I've noticed with majority of the journalists is because I've never understood since childhood, why wouldn't you go back, cover up stories that you presented like a month ago? Because you're supposed to be keeping people on tabs, right? Like, this has happened, we went back and this happened, this has been the final results, and this is how they have been helped. Like the problems of, let's say, BGV, literally. I've grown up seeing that a couple of times, but it's been stories that have been benefiting the mainstream medias, including white people, where they continuously want to see how black people or a black man is beating on their wife, or how a wife is being beaten by their husband. Continuously, this story is being recorded, but there's no solution to the community or the society itself. There's no education of how men should take care of their women. There's no education of how women should be treated by their men. It's just the same old backache behaviors and mentality that you think if a man hits you, they love you, then someone come record that, they benefit from that, and that's it. How have you benefited from sharing your story? Have you gotten any help? Are they gonna get you out of this marriage? Are you gonna get better mental, maybe healthcare from all this violence you've gone through? So now, because that norm is being killed right now, of having journalists not going back, or mainstream media not going back to cover up stories, that is being killed right now. And that is why the system is feeling threatened. Because what the heck is this? Let me share this. This is just so sad. This is so sad. And then I want to check on statistics, or the percentage of journalists. How many of them face threats yearly, or which country has the highest rate of bloggers, journalists being threatened?
Anyway,
this is what happened during the weekend, where we had one of the journalists, bloggers from Mombasa, who was sodomized. And this was an order being given by the governor of the county. Apparently, personally, I saw the story going viral until I saw the video today in the morning, and I couldn't even watch the video. For your own sake, I'm not going to share the video. For your own sanity, I'm not going to share the video because it is so sad. Number one, I saw that, I pictured that as my brother. Number one, I pictured myself as a mother, thinking if that could be my child. Like, it is so crazy. But listen to this.
That Mombasa Governor Abdulsamad Sharif has been summoned to record statement of alleged abduction and sodomy of a Mombasa-based blogger. This as Mombasa County Executive Committee member for Lands and Urban Planning Hussein Mohammed, who was arrested on Sunday in connection with the sexual assault, recorded a statement but was released after obtaining anticipatory bail. And as Francis Talaki now reports, human rights groups have condemned the incident and called for justice for the blogger.
For the last 24 hours, Mohammed Hussein, Mombasa County Executive Member for Lands and Urban Planning, has been in police custody after his arrest at a city restaurant on Sunday. Mohammed, popularly known as Amado, the man considered the right-hand man of Governor Abdulsamad Sharif Nasir, recorded statement, but was released after his legal team obtained anticipatory bail. The orders issued by Mombasa High Court Judge Wendy Michemi, barring police alongside the Director of Public Prosecution from arresting Mohammed until a petition challenging his arrest and prosecution is heard and determined. This follows his arrest over claims of aiding, abduction, and facilitating the gang raping of a Mombasa blogger 3 weeks ago.
For both me and my family.
Breaking his silence over the matter, Mombasa Governor confirmed that he had received a summon from police to record a statement over the sexual assault incident.
Mamangu aliyenizaa kwanza aliandikiwa summons afike.
Of course, they come with a sympathetic voice for you to feel pity for them because, number one, they come with the religious attires to make you feel like that they are holier than thou. They can never do anything like this. You know? This is just so sad. The video is just so devastating. It's crazy. But sadly, that is what majority of the African true journalists, bloggers who are talking about the facts, what they're going through. And for me, I'll talk about it because understanding what I report, understanding the line of career I am in, the reports I give you daily, understanding what I understand, that's a threat. Like it says, we are a threat to the majority. I walk very conscious personally. Even at my house, I'm going to get in and I always have a knife hidden somewhere. Like, yo, you never know. You never know. You know? I walk knowing literally who I am, where I am, what I do, what I report. So it's quite alarming to someone like me and to the rest of those people who are talking the truth literally, to see where we are, the kind of space, the kind of, and which is okay, you know, it is what is to be expected because nobody said it's gonna be easy. When you talk about the truth, it's gonna come with effects. But how many of us are really ready to stand for that boldly? Because until Africans realize what's real, what are lies, then we're gonna still have majority of our bloggers being raped. We're gonna have our journalists being killed. We're gonna have journalists disappearing. We're gonna have them being, burnt with acid, because that also happened to a Meru blogger some time back. They burnt him with acid. He was found dead. Until when are we gonna see this kind of issues going on? So personally, I'm really high in support of the national-wide demonstration that I see going on, being planned, because during the demonstration still, we saw journalists being harassed by police brutally. And these are journalists who have actually press cards, but they were not being given freedom to record anything going on. And this is why we have the mainstream media, the CNN presenters, such kind, who are showing nothing but just police brutality, not the peaceful demonstration. On this other end, we have the local mainstream medias who, when they tried to show the truth, they were being threatened. They were told, hey, we're going to shut you down. And this one, we saw a certain company that is KTN losing 300 employees because, of course, the politicians who are supporting these platforms are backing out. So this is so sad. But before we get to wind up, I want to read, of course, how many, because they're saying 11 African countries. This is this year. 11 journalists have been killed in 9 months on African continent. But I believe it's not actually 11. Like I said, Cameroon has the one amongst the highest recorded, and I've reported one amongst the highest reports of journalists disappearing every single time. But before we move on, we have Keith in the building as well. Karibu sana, Mr. Black of Fire.
Yes, Auntie Sana.
Wow. You're just waking up. Karibu, how you doing?
Look at my ass back up. Man. And I argue with Iratan and Shamani, let them know
Why?
not to get. 'Cause I had to let them know not to get sodomized. Shit.
Hey man, that it's rough, man. That's crazy. Cause man, the video is so crazy, kid. The video is in that situation. I don't
Yeah,
even, you can't even help yourself. This is not even the joke you were making the other day. You are on an island, you're stuck. What you gonna do? People are you have your hands cuffed. They're pinning you down on the ground.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that happened in Mombasa. So what? Because you're supposed to live in a democracy. So you criticize the governor, which is your right to do because they work for you. See, the
Exactly.
joke is that Africans, I told, I told Airtime, our Africans have become your cowards. So that's why he thought he could do it. Until you start, I hate to say it, get aggressive like Americans, no, knock somebody in the motherfucking mouth. No, you're not to be sodomized. So okay, they sodomize you. What's your response to it now? Then they left you alive. Okay, cool. Because they expect you not. See, what you should do. This is only being a human and common sense. Okay, you want to sodomize me? You better. This is when you need to have friends. Because now that you sodomize me, it's on and popping. Because I'm gonna find you, and you getting fucked up. So you're gonna have to play. Africans gonna have to learn to play tick for tat. Africans always allow people to fuck them up and don't do nothing, treat them like shit. Because the only reason why the government, these people, these puppets are allowed to do it, because you've allowed it. You've allowed it to do it. You've allowed these people to do this shit and think it's normal to have goons and all this, and no one has any. There's no accountability, Joby. Because every Africans always live in fear and cowardice. Listen, okay, now I'm really fucked up. You didn't sodomize now. I'm already fucked up in the head. I got nothing to lose. But I'd be damned if you're gonna walk the streets freely. I'd be damned. You'd have now given to me. You'd have given all your rights to live. To me, that's who I am. You're not gonna. I'm leaving this planet, or you are now. See, being scared all the time, being a coward, just gets you more cowardice. Fuck being scared. Okay, all right. So Africans, as Demore said on the Saturday show, which is really good. Demore had a really good show, Saturday. Really good. So too bad I didn't wake up in time. I called a coward dies 1,000 deaths. That's what Africans have been dying, 1,000 deaths. A hero only dies once. Cowards die over and over and over again because they keep getting smacked in the mouth over and over and over again because you're a coward. Heroes only die once. So even your leaders know that they coward. They made Africans such cowards that they can even do this kind of crazy shit. You mean the governor don't know he lives in a democracy and what he did was illegal? He knows it. He don't care. They don't believe. They know most of Africans have been kept stupid and cowards.
It's
Because
crazy. But as we,
how can you have goons come rape me for my opinion? That's my right. That's my right to say what I want to say. I have
sure.
freedom of speech in Kenya. So why am I being raped?
So let me read this article very quickly as I wind up. You woke up late, but thank you so much for tuning in. They're saying the African Freedom of Expression Exchange believe the culture of impunity is thriving because of various African government silence on crimes against journalists, coupled with
Of
lack
course.
of thorough investigations. For the past 273 days, just a minute.
They're never gonna investigate themselves, Joby. I'm not investigating me. I'm the one doing it. So of course it's not gonna be an investigation. I'm not gonna investigate. I know the crimes I'm committing. Governments are never gonna when the government says it's investigating itself, it's a scam. I'm not gonna investigate me. I'm the one doing it. I'm not gonna get a right. I'm not gonna be a honest investigation. And that's why you see it all. That's why you see this, not just Kenya. It's all throughout Black Africa.
Yeah, so let me read
Because
it
the
to you
Af-
what it says.
Right.
So the same for the past 273 days span of January, September 2021, 11 journalists have been killed across sub-Saharan Africa in auge of repression that has source for other acts of violence, violation against the press of freedom. Um, Aside from the killings of journalists, there have also been incidents of physical attacks, illegal arrests, and detentions, including legal harassment and persecutions of journalists. These assaults were perpetrated by unknown individuals and terrorists and security forces across 8 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Also in countries confronted with insurgency, the safety of journalists has been highly at risk as a result of threats posed by terrorists and state of security. And in West Africa region, Nigeria, Burkina Faso have made the headlines regarding the killings of journalists. A local journalist head to foreign journalists representatively. According to the less publicity, the equally disturbing. Let me read that again. According to the less publicity but equal disturbing was the killing in the evening, August 23rd, 2021, in Ghana, in the line of duty, a British journalist, now a British, we're caring about Africa. In Africa, it's so many. I'm not going to even continue reading this one, but it's been so many tortures, attacks, abductions,
Yeah,
threats.
because
Talk about
because
them.
yeah, that's because Africa's corrupt. Oh, Black Africa, it was called Sub-Saharan Africa. I just call it Black Africa because all of Africa should have been black. I'm not talking about they were talking about not the Arab African countries, but Sub-Saharan Africa. It's all corrupt because all of them were fiefdoms. So you reporting on fiefdoms get you killed. You're screaming democracy. There are no democracies in Africa except the 3 you got now. Even Torre and Niger and Mali. That's it. You have a scam. White people like to give you a scam of democracy. Oh, we got to put these leaders back in for democracy. Bro. The thing is that Africans are supposed to be stupid because that allows other people to steal from. Like I told Iraton, I said, Iraton, how are Africans the most poorest? Africans are not all poor. Iraton, let's have an honest conversation. Let's not get to talking stupid. You live in the richest continent, Africans are the poorest on the planet. How's that possible? Because you're meant to be that way. That's why you can't have real journalism. That's why you can't say, hey, these leaders are not doing anything for you. When you say that, they come and what? Sodomize you, come disappear you, come kill you. Because you're not supposed, it's dangerous when you're waking up the other Africans. Because this is another truth. Most Africans are stupid. That's not me being angry. I have an honest conversation. They're not stupid by their own fault. That's on purpose. So my job is to make sure you stay stupid. You're the wealth of the planet. You were wealthy once you had control of Africa. Now, if you don't get control of Africa, you're impoverished. So my job is to make sure you don't never have control of the continent. That's why journalists are in threat.
True. But as we wind up, Sinovia was saying earlier, we have to stop caring. If the government care or not, do our own thing. We have to take control of our destiny. True. She also says Nigeria should be the leader of the world. I agree. Sinovia also says every African family needs to have their own garden with vegetable and fruit growing on their own properties. Yeah, it's crazy. We'll expound on that discussion tomorrow on the Africa Today show as I get to share that video because it was kind of crazy. Shout out to John Mosquito. Hope you're doing amazing. Thank you for tuning in. Just says, oh, it's you, Joby. You're back. We heard you got food poisoning from eating your own cooking. God damn. Not my own cooking. I wouldn't poison myself. It's just something I bought outside. And I didn't expect it to do me that because I'd eaten before. But
Nobody said your own cooking. Your mosquito lying ass. You said you ate Noma Choma and the meat was probably bad and had something. See, Seto, being an African, Seto was about to cry when we told he was sick. He was all shaking. Listen. You can't have all you shaking up because Joby sick symptom. God damn.
What? Why?
Yeah, we was on show with Seth. I said Joby's sick. She got small case of food poisoning. He's all shaking the fuck up. God damn, calm down.
God damn.
No shit.
Forget about that. Much love, family.
so,
See you guys later. Thank you so much
so
for tuning in.
we were talking about Noma Choma, exactly the Noma Choma stuff. And he said, yes, Noma Choma's all kind of meat Keith in Uganda. I don't eat the pork. I said, oh, so you know not to eat pork, Santo, but you eat grasshoppers? How'd that work? How'd that
Crazy.
work?
It's crazy. Peace, family. See you guys later on the Black Kings frequency. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much love.
Hey, when we have my goddamn meeting, Joby, I was supposed to have a meeting today, but I knew you got in late. I was up. I
I
fell
think
back to
late
sleep.
after the Black Kings frequency, maybe.
All right.
It's gonna be something brief, right? Not something long, right?
It's gonna be long. There's some things that got to work out. No, not gonna be a short meeting. Some things I'm changing. Some things. We'll just do. I do it for